Day 7 of the escalating Iran-Israel conflict continues to raise international alarm as tensions soar. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping have spoken today, jointly condemning Israel's military actions. Both leaders called for a ceasefire and emphasized diplomacy. Russia warned the United States against military action, calling it an extremely dangerous step. Xi said armed force is not the way to resolve disputes and urged Israel to stop hostilities to avoid regional escalation. Overnight, Israel struck Iran's Arak heavy water reactor linked to its nuclear program and multiple missile launch sites in western Iran. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has said the strikes would intensify and claimed Iran's supreme leader can no longer be allowed to exist. Prime Minister Netanyahu has vowed to exact the full price for ongoing Iranian attacks. Speaking from Beersheba, he reaffirmed Israel's commitment to eliminating Iran's nuclear and missile threats. Here's what the Israeli Prime Minister had to say.
Our goal is twofold. Nuclear, ballistic missile, we're going to remove we are in the process of completing removing this threat. We are committed to destroying the nuclear threat, the threat of a nuclear annihilation against Israel.
Well, in response, Iran launched a new wave of missiles towards Israel. The Israeli army has confirmed sirens sounded in the north following the attack. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has also posted a defiant message on X, warning Israel to follow evacuation orders and stay away from military sites. He's declared Iran's armed forces will continue to strike the criminals responsible for targeting Iranian civilians. Iran also arrested 24 people accused of spying for Israel and spreading disinformation to damage the Islamic Republic's image. Andrew K.P. Leong is joining us live, a China strategist. He's live, in fact, from Hong Kong with us. Welcome. Thank you for being with us today on NewsX World, Andrew. How do you view this latest turn that the conflict has taken? Obviously, escalation has been warned now by Israel. They say that this is an unprecedented attack on a hospital. They are now directly blaming Khamenei for it. Do you see further escalation in the next 24 hours, looking at these latest statements from both sides? Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes. I thought you were asking me, but someone was speaking, you see.
Okay.
Anyway,
can you hear me?
I think that this is...
Are you able to hear me, Andrew?
In the a crisis over Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, has been increasingly emboldened to seek a greater end game. Originally started off with eradicating Hamas. He is already destroying the proxy forces supporting Iran, the Houthis, and also Hezbollah in Syria, and also controlling a lot of strategic assets in Syria. But now he seems to be seeking not only to eradicate Hamas, but also to eradicate Iran, because Iran has always been the greatest existential threat to Israel. I mean, it's not just recent years, it's over decades. And it is the confrontation of Iran that has been part and parcel of Israel's militarization, including its possession of nuclear weapons. But this time around, it sees that Iran has been sufficiently gravely weakened because all these proxy forces, the Houthis to a certain extent, but definitely Hezbollah, and to a large extent Hamas, have been weakened. And Israel has also been assassinating the top military leaders in Iran and trying to foment social unrest in Iran with the hope of overthrowing its government. However, the existential threat for Israel is the possession of nuclear facilities, which are said to be on the verge of developing a nuclear weapon. And hence Israel has been planning for this attacks for a long, long time. And its military, of course, has been hugely advanced with the support of weaponry by the United States. And now he seems to be targeting Iran's most secret and most precious nuclear facilities buried deep in the mountains. And they can be reached, according to their intelligence, only by employing the American special bombs weighing 30,000 pounds, the so-called bunker buster bombs. However, Israel doesn't have the aircraft or the bombers which are capable of carrying these bombs. And then the only bomber that can do so is the B-52 by the United States. And Trump recently has signaled that he has authorized the direct involvement of the U.S. Air Force in the war without giving the final go-ahead and asking Iran openly to surrender unconditionally. And of course, the Iran leadership refuses to buckle, refuses to cover in the courts of American aggression. And then, of course, the Iran has just displayed its 200 miles special mid-range missiles that can hit Israel's the capital and many other different assets. So the prospects for
we are also seeing a phone call, Andrew, that has taken place between, of course, various international leaders. They're all deliberating, of course, on this conflict and what is a way to de-escalate for both sides. Amidst all of this, we've also heard statements from Russia and China. How do you react to the positions that China and Russia have taken on this conflict, where they're clearly, of course, calling out Israel's actions as illegal?
Well, of course, I think that both for Russia and China, it destroyed Iran is doing a lot of damage to their coalition, because according to the early warning to Americans, foreign policy doyen, the late Brzezinski, in his epical tome called The Grand Chessboard, published in 1997. On page 50 of that book, he already warned that the most lethal coalition against American hegemony is a coalition between Russia, China, and Iran. And now with Iran, if Iran is being weakened, this coalition would be much more, is greatly affected. And hence, Russia and China do not want to see Iran, which is destroyed, apart from the prospects for escalation. Because if the Iran retaliates with missiles, and of course that with even other attacks, this could spiral into a regional war, which does not augur well for stability in the region or for the world. And hence, both countries, Russia and China, are supporting negotiations as a means to resolve the crisis. And that call for negotiation rather than military coercion is supported by the international community, by European countries and by other countries in the world, who do not believe that anything the world's problems to be solved by unilateral action. And indeed, this is the principle underpinned by the UN Charter, that countries involved in conflict to seek negotiations. But unfortunately, this method has been cast aside in favor of military aggression, which has its
okay, we're getting further breaking news now coming in this hour. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has called on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to adopt a moderate and controlled approach in Iran. In a phone call earlier today, Merz emphasized the need for restraint and careful decision-making. A German government source confirmed the conversation, highlighting Berlin's focus on stability and responsible leadership. Andrew Leung is live with us on this story. Andrew, how do you react to this phone call that has transpired between the German Chancellor and the Israeli Prime Minister?
Well, I think that you see, I was referring to these bunker-busting bombs to be carried by B-52 bombers. But then, of course, the Iran could also seek a way to obtain missiles that can threaten the B-52 bombers. And of course, the B-52 bombers is a valuable asset. And of course, if one is shot down, this would blow a hole in Americans' military credibility. And that explains President Trump's hesitancy in giving the final word go ahead. But then, who knows? I mean, no one can tell what President Trump is going to do, because he may well believe that the missiles couldn't reach the B-52, and even before they do, the Iranian nuclear facilities would be totally destroyed, and that would eliminate the only challenger of Israeli hegemony in the Middle East. And the Israeli hegemony in the Middle East is important for the serving of Americans' interests, because the United States can thereby control the whole of the Middle East, regardless of course, having destroyed Iran and threatening other Middle East countries.
Yes.
But that, of course, that would not be supported by the Arab world.
Andrew Leung, thank you very much for joining.